Hi guys, it's Eva Khan. We're here to offer you some quick tips on self-care.
Yeah, we thought this would be an even more useful now as the bar is coming up soon. We're hoping that these tips can be helpful in easing the stress you may be feeling as the test day approaches and even into the beginning stages of your career.
Yep, so before we begin, we wanted to introduce the concept of self-compassion. Self-compassion is all about being kind and understanding to yourself.
Yes, I can imagine that one could experience a lot of frustration trying to study for the bar during COVID. So, offering kindness to yourself can help ease this frustration and help you to get the most out of the time you do have to study.
So, to begin, we want to acknowledge that this is an especially difficult time to practice self-care. Taking the bar, especially during COVID, can be highly stressful. So, we wanted to offer you guys some guidance on what we think would be a good way to take care of your mind and body.
Absolutely. So, what is self care?
Self care includes activities needed for personal care like eating, getting dressed, and grooming yourself.
Oh, okay. Sometimes people think self-care is about going shopping or buying yourself a coffee. And while these things can be self-care, there are ways to practice self-care that don't cost any money.
Yep. So, the six areas of self care that we want to share about are emotional, mental, practical, social, physical, and spiritual.
That's a good way to break it down. We're going to start with emotional self-care, which includes activities that reflect on emotions.
Yep. So, you can see here that our first emotional self care tip is to cultivate emotional intelligence. Khan, can you give an example of how using emotional intelligence can help someone when they're studying for the bar?
Sure. So maybe when you're on a good roll for studying, you feel like you're getting a lot done, but you find yourself getting frustrated for what seems to be like no reason. This is when you can begin to think to yourself, have I eaten enough today? Am I giving myself enough breaks? Is the environment encouraging me to do my best studying? Or is it too loud, too dark, or maybe even too cluttered? The ability to identify what is going on around you and what is causing you to feel a certain way can help you feel your best and get the most out of your day.
That makes a lot of sense. Some other ways we can foster our emotional self care are creating emotional boundaries for yourself and others, taking responsibility for your actions, and setting a time aside in your daily routine for rest, especially as you're studying for the bar.
Those are all great tips. Can you share about our next area of self care?
Yeah, definitely. So the next area is mental self care. Mental self care is all about being kind to yourself and looking for things that stimulate you mentally. This includes speaking kindly to yourself, taking time to do things that stimulate you mentally besides studying, and taking breaks.
Yeah, very nice. I think, especially if they're working so hard studying, that allotting time for breaks is a great form of mental self care. So, for example, painting, exercising, or catching up with friends are some ways to relax and wind down after a long day of test taking.
Agreed. So, our next form of self care is practical self care. This is one of the less well known forms of self care, but it's still very important. Practical self care is all about doing tasks that will reduce future stress. This includes managing your schedule, cleaning your space, and budgeting.
Yes, being proactive about these things, especially when have a lot going on in your life, like studying for the bar, can help you feel more in control of your life and ease a lot of future stress.
Definitely. Let this webinar serve as a reminder to take a moment and clear off your desk. It may be a quick task, but you'd be amazed at how much more productive you can be when you have a clear space to work.
That makes a lot of sense. Our next tip is on social self care. As you're working so hard studying, you may be neglecting your social well being.
We're not asking you to spend a ton of time socializing. We know that's not realistic right now, but texting or calling a friend or family member on your breaks, or maybe at the end of your day, can help ease the stress you may be feeling from studying so much.
Absolutely. Taking a break to socialize can help you refocus, feel supported, and recharge to do your best work.
Okay, our next area of self care is physical self care. This is a quick one, just a reminder to do things that make your body feel its best. Studying outside for some vitamin D, finding some time to move and get exercise like stretching or doing a couple jumping jacks to wake yourself up, or making sure that you're eating and drinking enough are all really important to feel refreshed and increased alertness.
Hmm. Our last area of self-care is spiritual self-care. And this does not necessarily mean religious things. It's all about thinking about or reflecting on things that are bigger than yourself. Eve, care to elaborate on how this could look like?
Yeah, definitely. Some ways that you could do this are through self reflection, meditation and mindfulness, processing experiences, and through prayer. You could find recordings of mindfulness exercises and coping skills tips on our YouTube channel and the Hope and Healing website, which are both linked in the description. We actually have some that are just for you guys.
Absolutely. And to summarize, the 7 areas of self-care we covered are emotional, mental, practical, social, physical, and spiritual. Familiarizing yourself with these categories can help you to remember to practice self-care in all important domains of your life and improve your well-being. Even if you don't do these tips exactly, we hope that they spark some ideas that will work for you.
Yep. So that's all we have. Here's the email that you can use to contact us.
And there's information about COVID linked in the description, as well as a link you can use to request an individual check-in by emailing the same by emailing the same email provided on the previous slide.
Yep. Our next webinar is on managing immediate anxiety related to the bar during COVID. We're planning on including reminders for the test day and some tips that we have on testing anxiety. And then you can also see our Hope and Healing website is linked as well in the description.
The Center for Psychological Services of the Rutgers Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology, in collaboration with the New Jersey Department of Human Services Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services, Disaster and Terrorism Branch, offers this crisis counseling program through a Federal Emergency Management Agency grant. This program is brought to you through the New Jersey Hope and Healing Crisis Counseling Program.
Thank you guys. That's all we have for today.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.